Hey guys, SLCat here and welcome to episode 2 of my work in progress video of Master Grade Sinanju OVA version. I have to say this exact part should be in first episode, but for some reason I forgot to put it in there. So let's start with that. Here I use Modo Pro Mix Heaven Gold, which is one of my favorite lacquer gold paints for the pieces with different kind of iconography. Of course I'm gonna be doing a reverse wash for these parts and I'll show it to you in a minute. I used Mr. Color Gloss Black for a base coat and simply paint the gold over it. The paint is very rich and bright and definitely would be a good choice for such pieces. Now, let's do some check. As you see, gold coat turned out very nice. Also, let's have a look at the shaded parts for candy work. Very good result so far. And sorry for the dust, I didn't touch these parts for a few days. Now let's get to actual candy work. For this job I'm using Gaia Clear Red, which is my favorite clear red of all times. Start with the back of the pieces, then go to the edges and finally apply the paint over the external surfaces. I'm doing kind of mist coat first and then applying a wet coat right after it. While it looks simple, the process is quite tricky. You have to apply right amount of paint, being sure that the coverage is good enough to build a solid layer, but also to avoid the issue when the paint flows down by the gravity, or coagulation of the pigment over the edges. Just look at the picture. That's how the mistake looks like. I had a few of these pieces, and of course I repainted it. Next, the inner frame. As a primer I use Nazca Mechanical Surfacer Super Heavy from Gaia Notes, which is the darkest color of the line of Nazca surfaces, diluted with Nazca Pro Youth Thinner, which is specially designed for this primer. I like it so much, you can use it as a primer and as a paint. It's got very nice dark tone and good satin texture. According on the manufacturer's info, the thinner makes the primer more durable as well. As you see, I apply it with a wet coat to make the surface smooth and let the primer to formulate a good solid coat. And here's some pieces which are already dried. As you see, it looks great. You don't even need to top coat it if you don't want. Okay, now's the time for a reverse wash. Since I did lacquer coat of gold, I'll use enamel paint for making the background of iconography. I took Tamiya enamel black paint and diluted it with a lighter fluid. You can use enamel thinner as well, but I've heard lighter fluid evaporates much faster and also damages the plastic quite less. Not 100% sure, but still, I've never had any issues with such combination, so I'll stick with that. As you see, I gave the parts a good wet coat of enamel paint. And yeah, on most of the parts, iconography erased quite well over the background, but the shield is different. Besides the central sign which erased enough, most of the lines are at the same level of background and it would be difficult to use a reverse wash for them. So I did some masking job to make my life easier. Now, let's check the result. I still see some minor issues here and there, mostly because of the dust, but nothing really critical. And let's look at the inner frame parts also. They look nice too. I would probably do some masking job for a few inner frame parts like joints, back skirts, etc. Even it would be hardly visible when the kit will be assembled. This stuff always looks good. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.